All right. So lesson 5.5 is about special right triangles, as I mentioned. So the goal here is that you can use properties of 30, 60, 90 special right triangles to determine missing side lengths. So there's a couple different relationships in these triangles. So the first thing we're going to talk about are the angles. So if we look at this angle and this angle, or if you look here at this triangle, one of those is 30 and one is 60. If you have a hard time seeing which angle of these two is bigger, here's the trick. Look at the side that's across from them. And you'll notice that in this triangle, this red side is longer than the purple side. So that means the red angle is bigger than the purple angle. So we end up with 60 here because this side's longer, and then the other one is 30. So I'm going to clear some of this off so we don't have so much writing. So that's how the angles lay out. And this one is always 90 right here in the corner. The one that looks like a perfect corner, that one is 90. And then again, the angle across from the longer side is the bigger angle. And then here is the kind of tricky part. So the tricky part is that there's 3 different formulas for the different side lengths. So this is called the hypotenuse. We've talked about this quite a bit. It's the one across from the 90. The formula for that line is 2x. This will make sense once we start getting numbers in it. And then this one is the short side across from the 30. So it's the side across from the 30. That one's just going to be called plain x. That's the formula, just plain old x. And then the last side is this ugly x square root 3. On your quiz, I want you to know I had to put like that. I had to write it like that because there's no square root in the responses. So just know that I put SQRT parenthesis 3 parenthesis for your quiz, okay? So then if we put this all together, what happens is we get 60 here, and across from the 60 is the ugly one. We have 90 here. Across from that is 2x. And then we have 30 degrees here. Across from that is just x. Now you'll see right here in red, it says at least one of your sides will be ugly, which means with a square root. Never will all 3 sides be pretty. It will never be the case where all of your sides are nice numbers in this section. Okay, one of them is always going to be like that. So what we're going to be doing in these next couple questions is solving the triangle. And what that means when it says, what does it mean to solve a right triangle? Solve a triangle. It means find all 3 sides and all 3 angles. So you're going to have 6 things for each of these. All right, so let's look at some numbers. This will make a little bit more sense here. So pre-thinking, we're just going to ask some questions. So what do we have? We have x equals 3. Is that pretty or ugly? I feel like that is pretty. 3 is a really nice, simple, clean, easy number. So we will create something pretty or ugly. Well, in this case, we're going to do both, but that means like for sure there's going to be an ugly something that comes up. So let me ask you guys some questions. How many degrees is this angle going to be? How many degrees will that be? These are your 3 choices.
$90.
So that's going to be this one. That one's 90. But if we look at these examples up here, this side's a little shorter. So that means this one is 30. So then what is this one going to be?
$60.
You got it. We got to use all three of those. And then the formula up top said that x is this bottom one, and that's what we have. X is 3. So if we know that x is 3, what is 2x's worth? The formula is 2x, and we know that x is 3. So what's 2 times 3?
6.
Yup. So that side is 6. And then the last side is x times the square root of 3. Well, again, we know x. X is 3. So it's going to be 3 times the square root of 3. So we've solved this triangle. We have all three angles labeled, and we have all three sides labeled. All right. What is angle A going to be measured? 30, 60, or 90?
$60.
So this is the hard part, actually. This one's going to be 30, and here's why. If you look at this side versus this side, see how the red side's a little bit shorter? Since the red side's shorter, the angle that's across from that is going to be smaller. Shorter is smaller, longer is bigger. So the red side's going to be 30, or the angle A is going to be 30. That means that angle B is going to be 60 because this side was longer. And then this one's 90 because it's got that marked there. Can I get a yes or no if you guys understand what?
I have a question.
Yeah.
For clarity. So for these, it's always going to be either 30, 60, or 90.
Yes. Always, always, always. It's a great question. So for this, it's always going to be 30 or 60 or 90.
Okay. And how do I know it's a 90-degree angle?
That is also a good question. So if you have the start of like a rectangle, like if it's basically like the corner of a rectangle, when it's a perfect corner, that's when you have a 90-degree angle. If it has, I'm sorry, go ahead.
So if it has a box at the angle like that, that tells me it's 90 degrees.
Yes. And if there's no box, it's the one that's like a perfect, like, no, it's not squished at all.
Yep. Okay. And then, so if I know that's 90, I look at the smaller angle of the other two.
Mm-hmm.
And because 30 is smaller than 60, I would know that is 30. And then if that's 30, the other one has to be 60.
Yep, because you used 90 and you used 30. Exactly. So if you start with 90, you're like, okay, got this. And then you look at the other two, and you look at which one is bigger or which one's smaller. The one that looks smaller, like if you think of biting a piece of pizza, is how I think of it. If you guys were going to choose between, I'm going to throw some, if you're going to, oopsie crud. If this was your piece of pizza like that, where this was the first bite, versus this, that piece right there would be bigger because you have a bigger first bite. So if you look for the smaller first bite, that one's going to be your 30, and then the other one's 60.
Okay, and why those numbers?
These are just special, they have special relationships in a 30, 60, 90.
Because
that has those three, and they add up to 180.
180. Okay, got it. Thank you.
Yeah. So we know this side across from the 30-degree angle, x is 7. So here, across from the 30-degree angle, again, we have the x side. So now, what we need to look at, I'm going to take away some of those marks. What we need to look at is our other sides. So this guy right here, this is called our hypotenuse because it is straight across from the 90-degree angle. You guys, can you tell me what is the formula for that side? What equation do we have in this? What is on the hypotenuse?
Two x.
You got it. So if 1x is 7, how much is 2 x's? One x is 7. Like if you bought one shirt and it was $7 and you wanted 2 of them, how much would that cost?
It would be 14, correct?
You got it. Yep, exactly. So that one's 14. We got that. And then the last one is the ugly one that we haven't dealt with yet, which is right here. And that says x times the square root of 3. Well, if we look down here, we know x. X is 7. So we just do 7 times the square root of 3, like that. And now we've solved it. We have all 3 angles and we have all 3 sides. You guys cool with that so far?
Yeah.
Okay. So what I did here in this one is I gave you guys 2 examples where you get the short leg. Okay. This was 2 examples where you get the short leg, just straight up x. Okay. These next 2 examples, if you see we have this janky number, like the gross looking one. So this means I've given you the long leg because it's like a nasty looking one. So we're going to do 2 examples where you get the long leg. So first, let's do the angles. So we have A, B, C. Which one is 90 degrees, you guys? A, B, or C? What is 90?
C.
You got it. So then if that one's 90, we still have, so we got that one. What would angle A equal? What's A? 30 or 60?
30.
It is 30 because it's smaller. And then that means this one's got to be 60. All right. So far, so good, you guys? Yay or nay?
Yeah.
Okay. So then across from the small angle is always x, and the hypotenuse is always 2x. Do you guys know what x is based on this triangle? What is x? Look here. It says this.
15?
It is, yeah. So those 2 things are equal. So what we need to do is like look at what's the difference between the 2 of them. It means this x is 15 because it's gotten replaced. So now that's actually kind of nice. We can just come down here. So what is this side? How long is this side?
3.
This one's going to be 15 because it's x. Whatever x is, it'll be the same. So this one's just 15. This one says it's 2 of those. So 2 15s, which is how much?
30.
You got it. All right. Can you guys try this? First thing I want you guys to do, you don't need to say anything out loud, but try to determine A, B, C. Try to decide what the angles are. So on paper or in your head, what is A, what is B, and what is C? I want you to do that in your head right now. What angle is A, what angle is B, and what angle is C in your head? All right. So here's what I want to do first. I want you guys to type your answer. Don't hit enter. Do not hit enter yet. But I want you in the chat to answer this question, but do not hit enter. We'll hit enter together, okay? So I want you to answer if it's 30, 60, or 90 for angle C, and we'll hit enter together on 3. All right, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Good. C. C is 90 degrees. So my next question is, what is angle A? So we already did that this is 90. So all we have left is 30 or 60. So don't answer it yet, but type it. I want to know what is angle A, either 30 or 60. So type it, but do not hit enter yet. So again, what's angle A? Type it. Don't hit enter. All right, on 3, you ready? 1, 2, 3, hit enter. Nice, good job, you guys, perfect. So this is 30. And then that means that this guy's gotta be 60. So the next thing I want you guys to do is see if you can figure out what this purple side is gonna be. Don't hit enter yet. And then what this green side is gonna be. Okay, so I want you to, right now, try to figure out what the green and the purple are gonna be. Okay, so let's start with the purple. So I want you guys to tell me, and again, this is the first couple examples, so don't stress if you get it wrong. We're just trying. Okay, thanks, Miss Sophia. I appreciate it. So in the chat, can you guys, don't hit enter, but just type in what you think the length of the purple side is. So how long is the purple side? Do not hit enter yet. All right, on 3, you ready? 1, 2, 3. Nice, you guys. Perfect, good. So this is 6. Oopsie poopsie. I'll do that in purple. 6, because if you look up here on these weird sides, the number in front is what X is. So whatever that number is, that's going to go across from the short angle. So whatever that number is going to be the short side. Now, can you type in what you think the green one is? So green. Just get that ready. All right, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Nice. You guys are doing awesome. Yes. So this one is going to be double that number. So the number in front here matches here, double it here. All right. So this is the last type of question. So in this one, we've actually been given the hypotenuse. We've been given the side that's across from the 90-degree angle. So I already gave that away. These are both 90 and 90, okay? So now we got to make an ugly side and a pretty side. So if you look, oops. What is this angle going to be? How many degrees is that angle? You guys can speak or you can type it. That one's going to be 30, which means, do you agree that this side is then X because it's the short side? Like across from it. And then what is this angle going to be?
$60.
You got it. And across from that is that weird janky one, X root 3. Okay? So I wrote this out this way so that it hopefully tipped you guys off. It says that 2 X's are worth 100. 2 X's, or like 2 shirts, are worth $100. That's a lot for a shirt. 2 sweatshirts, we'll say, are $100. So how much would one of them be?
$50.
Yep. And since we just said that X is 50, we're going to replace the X with 50, and this is going to become 50 root 3. So we have that side, we have that side, we have that side, and we have all the angles labeled. So on a little scratch piece of paper, here's what I'd like you guys to do. This triangle, I want you to try to solve this. And what that means is I want you to put all 3 sides and all 3 angles. So I'm going to give you a second to get a piece of paper and just draw it out. It doesn't need to be pretty, but just get a piece of paper, draw this out, and find all 3 sides and all 3 angles, and then we'll get our answers. If people are watching the video, you can just like pause it because we're going to wait a second. All right, so you folks go ahead, do your thing. I'll give you a minute. When you are ready, will you type okay in the chat?
Miss Nina,
What's up?
I believe question 3 on the test, homework. For the last one, it doesn't have a letter by it.
Okay. I'll look at it. Just give me a sec, okay? Once we're done with this. Thank you, Mubarak. Is anyone else? Are you guys getting close? I'm not rushing you. I'm just wondering. Thanks, Javaris. Okay, I'll give you one more minute, and then we'll go through it together. No pressure if you're not done. You can just check the ones that you did get done. Okay, let's do it to it. So, which angle is 30 degrees, please? Which angle's 30? A is going to be our 30. It's across from the shorter side, which is just X. So that means 60 is B. And that also means that it has this nasty formula. Okay. So I'm hoping you got the 30-60 part, the angle part. If you didn't, stay after, and I can try to explain better or differently how to figure out which one is 30 and which one's 60. All right, next question. If 2x is worth 22, what is a single x worth?
11.
Yep. So what is this side going to be?
11.
11 root 3. Just make sure you attach that on there. You guys cool with that? Okay. I'm going to stop recording. That's the end of the lesson. Just give me one second.